Hello. Well, you are here is because you are following me. No, this is my channel, Gonzo Blogger. You can find me in Twitter and also in Facebook and on YouTube. And then I am reporting directly from Donetsk. Today is 26 of June 2017. 2017 is quite hot. No, and then I came here today to do a special thing because I am the home of, actually my friend, no, from the United States, David Simpson, that is a person that have been living here for near 2 years. No?
Yes.
Near 2 years, and then he's working here right now as a kind of journalist, no?
Yes.
And then also this man, we spent here some time, no, some adventures, good moments, bad moments, no, let's say, no. And he is really right now. It's very hot today, Simpson. To say, he's leaving the, he's leaving Donetsk tomorrow. You are leaving tomorrow Donetsk, and let's say that you are leaving not to the United States but to other country,
yes.
Because there is a sentence that I read that they say that home is not a place, it's a person.
Absolutely.
You understand me? Home is not, and then I think you are coming back home.
Yeah.
That is not a place, but it's a person.
That's correct.
Yes or no? I think that this thought is pretty deep. You understand me? Because
it is for people, and for people who, if you will, have emotions that run deep. I've always been a pretty emotional person. I've over my lifetime gotten involved in politics, religion, and in the field of love, if you will. I've been honored enough to know some really special people in my life, and the last chapter should be spent trying to get home to this person. Hopefully it will all fall in place, and very shortly I will not be spending my time listening to bombs falling outside my window.
So and then let's say that you had here this experience, no? What did you learn, no, from your experience here?
Yeah, that's my favorite line actually from a movie. In the movie Munich, which is one of my favorite films by Steven Spielberg. At the end of it, he sets Abner down, who's an operative from Mossad, and he says to Abner, he says, "What did you learn? What did you learn?" And it's the most important sentence for anybody who's a thinking person or an intelligent person, going all the way back to Plato or Aristotle, is what did you learn? And what I learned, at least here from my perspective and being around this place, is that it's a local regional conflict. It's not one that necessarily involves Russia, although Russia has to pick up the check for it constantly. And the thing that I would give as a takeaway to anybody who thinks that this is somehow a battle between Ukraine and Russia, that's not the reality of the situation. These are local people who've broken away from their own nation that was being very violent and very abusive with them, in the same way that an American state might secede from the United States. So I look at this place as no different than West Virginia going its own way, with local people administering it. Are there Russians who come here? Absolutely, they're right next door. It's in their national interest to talk to people and understand what's going on. But are they the key players behind all of the movements and behind how everything runs? I don't believe that. I honestly don't. And for me to continue to see this bannered around in the Western media as if it's the holy grail of reality, it's offensive.
And then let's say that I mean, so you think that, what do you think is going to be in your opinion, no? What is going to happen here with this republic that you are living?
I don't want to be pessimistic. I think that the republic has some good people in it. It has some good people and it has some bad, like any place. You have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it would take a book or a platform better than what you and me have right now to address all those facets and features. Hopefully I get to exist long enough to leave that behind in living memory. But from the standpoint of this location and where it will end up in the long haul, I think what you'll see for the short term is this continued avoidance of completing Minsk. I think if you sit down and read Minsk, point 10 would mean that all of the U.S. Army and all of the NATO forces would have to leave Ukraine. It's very black and white. it says that any foreign force on the territory of Ukraine must leave the country with the OSCE escorting them out of the country. And we have the United States military and NATO both saying they're going to be here through 2020, 2021. They're building bases, they're bringing in forces. So it's disingenuous for the West to continue to force Minsk upon the Donbass republics when there are parts of Minsk that there's no way they can ever be completed, ever.
You were, let's say, a man, no? That people maybe that are watching this video don't know who are you, but basically you were working for the CIA.
25 years ago,
21st year
I was
ago,
a
no?
young man. I worked as what would be called an agent. You have officers. Officers are full-time employees of the Central Intelligence Agency. I was an agent or somebody they reached out to as a subject matter expert, if you will. My expertise was arms. I was in the arms business, dealing directly with Moscow, dealing directly with the Latvian government. And I went in and made some negotiations trying to pick up weapons systems that the United States could test and evaluate against forces that we were looking at the time of going up against the Iraqis, which we eventually did. And we were in a time period where the U.S. relations were getting better with Russia. When I went into Moscow...
It was in Jersey, no?
Yeah, they still have it on video up in Moscow, where I sit down with the Russian officials, and I told them that NATO was not going to expand, because that was the policy of Bush's father, President Bush, George W. And we told the Russians, hey, look, we're all going to have better relations now. You can sell us anything you've got. We're going to use it for test and evaluation purposes, and in the future we're going to have great relations. Same kind of relations Trump would like to see nowadays were available 25 years ago. But America pushed those aside. My opinion is I think it was defense contractors that essentially didn't want to have to live up to competing with the Russians, and at the same time you had neocons coming into government back then that were trying to split the two sides apart for corporate profit.
I think let's say that so how let's say the situation now. How do you see now the situation in your country, in the United States? No? How do you see?
It's a real mess in the States. Trump has been kind of, if you will, held back by what you would describe as deep state, which are legacy employees from the Bush era, from the Obama era, the last 3 decades of employees that are entrenched into the system. These employees have their own set of values and their own worldviews that are very similar to the neocons. And this particular group does not want better relations with Russia or China. They want the hostility and that climate of constant conflict in order to profit off it. If you look at Afghanistan, Iraq, and you look at Syria, these are all wars where American contractors, whether it's Boeing, General Dynamics, or Halliburton, are making billions and trillions of dollars off of selling arms constantly that are used there. When Trump fired those 59 Tomahawk missiles in Syria, each one of those missiles cost $1 million. That was $59 million that was taken away from Detroit. $59 million taken away from Chicago, Los Angeles, or Denver. And as long as this cycle continues, Americans are simply working to feed an empire. My biggest concern out of all of it with the United States is the lack of genuine interest in Americans who stand up against this and protest. I don't see mass amounts of people protesting. I see people protesting Trump just because he's Trump or says something that's off color in a sexist way, but I don't see them protesting things like the potential of a nuclear conflict in Syria, which is very real right now.
Yeah. It's fascinating, no? Because
it is.
The people are protesting because Donald Trump said something about women. You understand me? But they are protesting because the conflict in Syria. Sorry, this is. I respect women, I have to say, and then I think some of the expressions of Trump maybe are not really, you understand me, no?
Yeah, they're not what you would call politically correct.
Yeah.
And he's certainly entitled to have those opinions if he wants. I don't agree with his remarks, but you have to balance it out and say what's more important. Are we going to worry about Trump saying something about a woman, or are we going to worry about the whole planet being barbecued and people dying of radiation poisoning for generations?
Yeah, exactly. That is the key, no? And then I see that still, no, how CNN, no, the main media, no, the mainstream media are hunting Trump. I mean,
there's a constant climate of get Trump in the United States right now, and a constant climate of anything Russian is evil. It's like we've suddenly built the Russians into being the most evil force on the face of the planet, and when you sit them down or try and get them to articulate why these Russians are so evil, they can't tell you. The Russians are making no offensive moves to try and take over the United States. You don't see them in Canada or Mexico. But we have the Americans right across the border here in Donbass. So if you were to turn the tables around and take a look at from another person's shoes, the Russians could certainly feel threatened, given the number of forces that are in Ukraine, Poland, the Baltic states. They are the ones that are being boxed in, not the United States. There's no Russians in Canada. There's no Russians in Mexico.
That's right. And then I want to tell you, Simpson, because now you are leaving the Donetsk, no, and then let's say, you are coming back to somehow, let's say, normality. Let's say, no, because here living in this condition is very difficult for everybody,
yes,
no.
For everyone,
you know, I mean, even for me,
yeah,
or for many of the volunteers that are here, no.
Right.
The thing is that I want to still continue, you know, your, let's say, activity, unless on Facebook or as a blogger or.
I think as a private citizen, I could still exercise my opinions. I think I will still write. I will still be involved in journalism. You know, I'm sure that if they want to try and concoct reasons to punish or reasons to be abusive, they can. The West is really good at this. There have been a number of people come out of here who carried arms. In my particular case, I never touched a weapon the whole time I was here. I was strictly involved in journalism and humanitarian aid. But even given that, there is this constant concern, if you will, about the system in the West being so anti-free speech nowadays. If you look at Ukraine, who's cracked down and banned the internet and banned different Russian companies from being able to have email for users, or being able to go to websites or even social media sites that are Russian-based. It's incredible. Yeah. And you have that same concern with America and some of the European states now that are leaning in those directions about banning free speech. The Germans just went out and arrested 36 people the other day on this same type of situation. People that were opposed to migration or immigrants, people that were leftists also that were critical of the government. So it was a broad ban crackdown in Germany just off of simple social media. I will certainly be aware of that and be very careful about any postings I make in the West. And that's something that should concern everyone, is that you shouldn't have to be careful. The original idea of the Western democracies was free speech, unhindered.
Actually, I think, unless, I know, here are many volunteers, I mean, there are volunteers from different countries, you know, perfectly.
Right.
And probably many people, I mean, they came here for several reasons, no?
Right.
But many, unless in my case, I think it's the same in your case, or in others probably, no? We came here actually, not exactly. I didn't came here exactly because the Donbass or Russia. Just because I came here because I feel that the media, the Western media, are telling lies and manipulating the public opinion. Are even the governments are even imposing a kind of authoritarian. Well, you know, yeah. You cannot think different. You cannot think different than the government. You cannot say different thing because there is a new McCarthyism. New McCarthyism. It's a sort of neo-McCarthyism imposed here in Europe, in Europe, and also in the United States.
Yes.
And then this is the thing that I want to tell you, know, because. What do you think about this issue? About
Well, it's a real McCarthyism with a lot of red scares and red herrings and hunts. The hunts have been right up Trump's alley. They've crucified everybody in his family, even Kushner. Kushner himself is a neocon, and yet they drag him through the mud also, just because of his proximity to Trump. So no, everybody's fair game to them right now in this, if you will, McCarthy era that we've been reborn into. And it continues to go further down that highway to totalitarianism on a regular basis with how the media works hand in hand with the state. That should concern anyone, but it doesn't really seem to have much effect back there. The media blocks out a lot of things, and like you, because I was able to also see them on the internet, it's what drove me to come here. Because I could go on the internet one evening and see children being bombed and maimed, and the next day none of it was on American television. None of it. They tell you about a fashion show, watching dogs dressed up in sweaters, but they wouldn't tell you about what was really going on in the world. And so that's part of the reason I came, was to protest and try to bring attention to it.
Yeah. Do you want to, well, you know, I want to tell you, Simpson, David, no, that let's say that I think you did somehow your great job here, no? because you unless you for the American people, no, let's say, no, and I consider you are a patriot.
I work
you are a patriot. You are an American patriot, no, that you came here just because you were against the policies of the administration.
But I was so against the policies of the Obama administration, I couldn't stand to watch my country go down any further. That's that's one of the main things that drove me out of America, was watching what Barack Obama was doing to the nation with his policies. And unfortunately, that same type of political agenda, if you will, continues on nowadays. It really does under Trump, and it's not Trump's fault. All of this has been brought to his doorstep, and as I've said many times in different radio broadcasts I made here, if you go back to the heart of the problem, it's a Ukrainian problem made in Kiev. It's not made in Moscow.
Well, I wish you the best, no, in your new, let's say, life, no. I know that you have a nice girlfriend, no. That is well, I know you have no.
She's a very kind woman.
She's a very kind woman. You are very lucky, no, because somebody look. You know how many men have a girlfriend that is taking care of the boyfriend like she's doing? Very few. I never had in my life. I have to say, really, believe me. I mean,
I can tell you that
I'm a good guy. I mean,
she did more than my own mother.
No, really. I mean, because I know. I mean, you understand. She is following me, no, and then she was very worried. She was even writing, no, looking for you.
She's unique.
And then it's unique because usually girlfriend really don't mind a lot about boyfriends in the world that we are living now. Just simply look.
Worth
I mean, especially when boyfriends are out of the country with a lot of problems, like you.
Well,
you understand? I mean, usually women are not looking for this kind of problematic men. I mean, what are you doing? Your boyfriend is in the Donbass. You know, this is very. I don't want to know anything else about you. You understand me?
Yeah.
It happened to me as well because my girlfriend she was not able to say you love me very much. Just come to the Donbass. You understand me? Huh? So. Really, I told her, you love me very much, come here. No. So you don't love me so much, you understand, So you understand, the logic, So I mean, this is for me it's very interesting, because I am not going to spend my life, with a woman that is not helping me in a bad moments. Like it's doing your girlfriend, because I want to tell you, your girlfriend, she's going to watch that, she's going to laugh, is helping you. Not only that. When you are in the very down, in a worse. Usually women are not doing that, you understand?
That's right.
And then you can imagine, I have a wonderful Lithuanian girlfriend, I love you very much, just come here. No. Hey, wait, you don't love me, you understand me? I mean, you understand? So, no, really, I realize that, okay, she was nice, but it means that she's not able to risk anything. Of her, let's say, nice life, in a very comfortable, because I mean, okay, I would like for the other boy, that is more normal. No, sorry, I am totally normal. The problem is that you not get the correct education, or unless it's like really, imagine that in the future you have a problem. With this woman, so it's not able to understand that when you are with a couple, with a person, sorry, this is your man. Just go for him. You understand me? Or I am doing something that everyone understand what I am doing here. You understand?
You have to have been married a few times maybe to understand how rare it is to find somebody.
Very difficult. I think your girlfriend is very nice and just say hello. Hello to me. I mean, and then one day maybe. No. I will tell you. Sorry. One day I will visit you. I hope you marry. I hope you marry and send me some pictures, no?
I will.
I will. And then don't forget that organizations in Germany that want to reliable partner. Centro Cervantes de Donetsk. Absolutely. Those guys are a bit special, but they are really good.
They're doing a really good job. Your group has done more impact here. Had more of an impact from the Band of Basadi to all kinds of different international groups coming here to visit than the administration can put together. The constant drive when I was early on in media was trying to get foreign delegations to come here. And what we're finding as time goes on is that the actual people who are able to get the foreign delegations to come are the expatriates like you or like Castell. These are the people that are actually making a real difference here. And so I would encourage everybody that knows somebody in Congress or Senate to recommend them to come here. it's very important that elected representatives see the situation instead of making assumptions about a place they've never visited. Most of the elected representatives in the West have never been to Donbass. Come see it before you make a judgment.
It's easy to find us in Facebook with this, with Hola Donetsk. Hola Donetsk, look for Hola Donetsk and it will appear in Facebook. Centro Cervantes Donetsk, no? That you know that is a kind of quite multicultural, no? Also, we are even in the last time we are even attracting in our group, incorporating even really nice ladies, no? So let's say, no? So, that is amazing, no? Because we are getting even beautiful woman, no? That at the beginning always we are getting people like Pachi. Good guy, but later, Pachi is wonderful. He's good cooking, but now we are getting even a beautiful woman. No? It shows that we are working
in a good direction.
In the good direction. Because at the beginning we are people like Pachi. And I send a kiss to Pachi that I know. Pachi is going to watch that.
Pachi paid us $20 to say this.
Yeah. And you know Pachi that he has a good hair, no? Yes. He's a basket guy with a beard.
Saved my life.
Yeah. And he says your life. He wanted to break the door here, no? In a very basket way. Don't worry, because I am basket. And then it's like this guy, no? The other guy that was opening bottles with shoes. No, this kind of people.
They're unique.
Unique. So thank you for everything what you did, and I wish you the best. And also, see you soon, guy. I thought sooner or later we'll meet somewhere, some place. Hope you have a nice life there in Düsseldorf. And try to, let's say, I know that you still will continue helping the Donetsk and the Donbass, no? And we'll keep in touch thanks to the network, no?
Absolutely.
And then, you know that you live here a group at least of people that knew, many people that are around the Centro Cervantes. Well, we can say you are part of our family, a small family.
As much as I had, if you will, the inability to do something, I think I did a lot for a guy that didn't have much of a chance to do everything he wanted to.
Exactly, that's right. That's really right. Well, thank you. This is Donetsk. This is Gonzo Blogger. Today is 26th of let's say June. No?
Yes, I believe
and so. It's very hot today.
Very hot.
Very hot. I think it's going to be hotter tomorrow.
Probably.
And then I wish you a nice trip, because tomorrow you have a nice trip to Rostov. Everything is fine. And Simpson, you are part of the history of the already. You are all part of the history of the Donbass.
Adios, amigos.
Adios, and thank you.